There we go. Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Shelley, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. And tonight we are doing the Captain's Table. The Captain's Table is where I bring people from all over the Star Citizen universe to talk about Star Citizen. We have two brand new faces of the Captain's Table, not new to the Star Citizen universe. I'll have them introduced and such, both to talk about a topic that's very near and dear to both of their hearts, and I think it's a discussion happens often in the community. But before we get to that, let's introduce folks. Let's start with Mr. Zork. Zork, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
I'm Andreas. I run a YouTube channel called Zork Media, where I play Oliver Zork, a news anchor. I can show him here if you let's see if you recognize him. This is the guy right here. He started out as me doing like a project where I wanted to create a TV channel, sort of, or like a mobiGlas channel in game, and I wanted to do news reports. But it ended up with me starting like an actual broadcasting service in game, recruiting other content creators like Natronics from EU Studios and Koink and Sage Paul from AMR, who's working on an animation series in Star Citizen universe right now. It's really cool. So right now we're running a broadcasting service on our individual YouTube channels. So I do news and some other shows and some machinima work, and those other people do what they do.
Awesome.
So that's where we are.
What's the name of the most recent machinima one? The 30-minute movie you did that was fantastic. I can't remember the name of it, but
that was Beacon Banu was the latest one, I think. Yeah, that was
fantastic. Anyone who is interested in Star Citizen machinima, it's really, really well done. And
thank you.
This is me get to goat a little bit. Is that I have been following Zark's stuff since you were posting stuff on just Reddit, and maybe sort of doing stuff on YouTube. And I'd often pull you up as being to watch the HubNet stuff, and I always be like, this is the channel that is underrated, and y'all should be watching this on YouTube. Please watch this on YouTube more. So definitely check it out. And where can they find you specifically? Where can they find your content?
On Zork Media on YouTube.
Zork Media on YouTube. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then we've got a face that is very familiar to everyone. Miss Expat Bratz, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Well, hello. I'm Expat Bratz. I am on twitch.tv/Expat Bratz. Haven't been on there for a little bit in character, but getting back at it as 318 comes back to life, hopefully soon. I basically do live cinematic machinima. I guess the easiest way to show you is to show you right here, right now. So we have cameras like this where I look down and say, hello, how's it going? Cameras like this, and oh, hey, how's it going? You okay? And we do this all live, and it's all unscripted, and we have a whole lot of fun.
Awesome. I have seen your content and watched your content as well, and I see you as a kindred soul in the Chaos Gremlin levels of content. So I too enjoy breaking the game in weird and wonderful ways. So
yeah, I mean, look, I do a lot of science. I take things pretty seriously. We have a lot. I have a laugh over on my channel, but at the end of the day, it's all about making progress to the final game. I just so happen to have discovered some of the amazing VoIP and cinema features, and I really enjoy playing the game from this immersive and cinematic perspective. I cue music on command to bring suspense to moments of suspense, and and comedy to moments of comedy, and action to moments of action. And I like to think of Star Citizen as my my own little movie in the stars. People always want to be the hero of their own film, so
Yeah.
I just make one live.
It's awesome. It's very fun. It's very, very cool. And again, it's twitch.tv/Expat Bratz, right? All one word, or
yeah. Yes, indeed. It's
awesome.
Expat Bratz, yeah, one word.
Awesome. Now, today, speaking of movies and cinema and immersion, today I wanted to bring both of y'all here today because both of y'all have your own kind of experiences, your own kind of perspectives on this. But there's a constant refrain that we've heard from CIG in the past, and a constant refrain you'll hear from the community that's been going for years now, which is immersion. It's been a joke, it's been a meme, it's been a concern, and it's been a draw for many people. And the term itself is nebulous. Immersion is different for every person. Everyone's going to have different types of immersion. But recently I've seen a lot of people concerned that immersion may be overtaking the game of Star Citizen, where it's becoming more about the immersive experience than it is about the gameplay experience. So the first question I'll ask you, and I'll start with you on this one, Expat, is do you think that immersion is, or I'll put this in a better way, do you think that gameplay and immersion have a space together? Can they live in the same space, or could immersion, could we reach a point where like immersion is too much, where it's actually infringing on the experience of the game?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, there's many different ways that immersion can be created for the player in the first place. So, and I guess each player is going to have their own feeling as to what immerses them and what takes them out of it. Some people will be really into simulation and want the flight mechanics to be ultra simulation, and that will immerse them. And other people would prefer the ships to look a certain way and function in a certain way, and that provides them immersion. For me, actually, one of the strongest points of Star Citizen, and what was the big wow factor in the beginning for me, was the world building. So the detail in which the corporations, the advertising, the realistic construction of my first experience was in Crusader, and just stepping out onto the Crusader platform, the one with the experience center, and seeing those huge screens with the advertising and the gift shop and the it all just seemed so plausible and realistic, and this is kind of how you would expect a future like this to be, and it made sense, physically and everything. So for me, I think world building is a huge part. I mean, I don't really see how world building would affect people's enjoyment, really. I feel like mechanics is where immersion, has the potential to go from fun in games to this is a drag, how serious we take like the dynamics of space flight, how serious things like aerodynamics and the how easy it is to fly a spaceship, and how the crew can how a crew has to communicate, and whether you can fly solo or you have to use a team, and all this kind of stuff. So personally, I think like I said, there's many different ways that immersion could break, and it depends what kind of player you are. But personally, I think it's kind of easy to make an arcade game, right? So I feel like the more immersive this thing becomes, the more entertaining it will ultimately be, and the more deep the gameplay and the experience will be. I personally think the more detail, the better.
Okay. Zork, same question with you. Do you think that there is a point where immersion can be a detriment to the game? Like, when can immersion be too much?
I think it's a difficult question, because I go into the game from two different angles usually when I play. If I'm filming, I'm gonna be a little bit irritated at all the like traveling by train and takes 25 minutes. When they added like, do you know how easy it was to make machinima when you had your inventory, like of wherever you were, you had the same clothes available in Grimhex like you did in Crusader or in New Babbage, and now you have to go to the actual place where your clothes are lying, or you forgot your ship or your glasses in the other ship across the system. It's a nuisance, really. But at the same time, it's really like, I know also the machinima that I make is meant to play into the immersion. If I don't adhere to going by train ride for waiting for the train for 2 minutes, there's no point to my machinima. I have to experience that myself, because that's the thing that I want to build on with my videos too. But is it a detriment to gameplay? I think CIG are very clear about what type of game they want to produce and deliver, and I think the immersion that we have right now is on track of becoming the gameplay that they promise. And that is a gameplay of you being a spaceman and or a spacewoman and going about your business and living in this world. And it's supposed to be like that. And I don't know. It's a hard question.
All right.
Can I jump in and just
Go
say
ahead.
that you have to take the train ride and you have to quantum for miles and you have to go and pick up things, and I'm sorry, it's just how it is, because I mean that's the game. Unfortunately, it's not a game that was made for content creators necessarily. You know, that's not what this is about. You know, and it's about having a finished, complete environment. And I was actually watching another content creator. I mean, no names, of course, but they were complaining about how long the quantum travel is, because it's hard for them to go and make YouTube videos because they have to spend about 2 hours just trying to travel in a direction to go find a thing. And they wanted to buy like a media package that would allow them to teleport across the gap. And I was like, nope. No. This is a game for everybody.
Yeah. So let's think about the more positive aspects. Zark, we'll start with you on this, Zark. Zark, what is your you prefer I say Zark or do you say Andreas, or which one do you prefer?
Yeah, go with Zark. That's
okay.
More clear. I think that's fine.
All right. What do
the
you?
Great Almighty Zark,
Mr. Media. But like, what do you think that? What is it about immersion in Star Citizen that makes it different? Like, that makes it stand out? Is there anything in Star Citizen, especially with its a focus on immersion, that really kind of makes Star Citizen stand out from other games? Is it just does it not stand out from other games? Is the immersion actually an important factor in the Star Citizen experience, or like making it unique to other space games, say like Elite or No Man's Sky or Eve or any of the other sorts of games? Is there anything in there that CIG is focusing on that seems to really make this better, or does it not? Does it fall down in some cases?
For sure, there is. Like I said, I was talking about the subway train, or the train rides earlier, and that was actually one of the things that inspired me to try to make content that was fitting for an actual world. I wanted it to be like a show in the world. And there's two things in that, and I think the first thing is that CIG, if I'm correct on this, don't quote me on this, but I think they have been talking about actually pulling in community content into the game at some point, that was one thing that inspired me a lot, actually, to do the videos that I do. And the other thing that is really unique, at least for me in Star Citizen, is the FOIP. When they added the FOIP, and that is, for anyone who's not familiar, is the short term for face over IP, which is what Expat Bratz is doing right now. And that is, to me, very unique for Star Citizen. I haven't even seen it in any other game. I saw it in like LA Noire, but that was from actors on. on characters, but not like this from a webcam in an MMO. That's really immersive to me.
Awesome. Expat Bratz, same question. Is there anything about Star Citizen's focus on immersion that makes it stand out from its competitors?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more. You know, it's kind of a breath of fresh air to be able to like feel like you wake up in a place and it's actually a place that could really exist. And you know, you hop on the train and you go to the little store and buy your or go to the Whammers. You know, I'm always sponsored by Whammers, so I have to
Sponsored by
mention them,
Whammers.
guys. Go and get go and get your Whammer burger and your pips and then head over to like a nice little part of town and meet up with someone and that it's just the whole movement around the place and the fact that you can like jump in a ship and you see a place and you go, you know, like, oh, I see the space station up there. Okay, let's go. You know, it's just super cool. And the VoIP and the VoIP thing, I mean, this is just genius. I mean, like I had no idea this even it was a thing in Star Citizen when I even picked up the game and started playing. And when I discovered it, I was like, yes, this has to be done, and this has to be done well because this just makes it so much fun for me to play. It really is just me having fun, you know, out here. I mean, this is how I enjoy playing the game. People joke about me saying like, oh yeah, when you're not streaming, are you walking around looking at yourself, bumping into walls, you know, while talking? And I'm like, no, I don't. But I will still interact with other players and you know, have fun that way, you know, and sometimes be in character. So yeah, it's I used to love all those games, those like I don't know, it was a long time ago, but does anyone remember Second Life? I know it became a bit strange in the end, but like that whole idea of like just being in a, you know, just getting out of my house and just being somewhere else, you know, you don't have to go on holiday, you just load up the computer and there you are, you know. I think that's cool. The more it can get like that, I think the better.
Go ahead, Jack.
I wanted to add on the point of Second Life that Sweden, where I am, had its foreign minister open the only foreign what's it called? Embassy. Yeah, if an official embassy. He made a character and he cut the ropes right outside the Swedish embassy in Second Life.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's focused, I think if this game is extremely focused on space combat and all that kind of stuff, I mean, that's one thing. But I mean, it's already pretty cool that you can, you know, go and buy a gun and then you've almost got like a first-person shooter. You've got a space combat game. You've got, you know, honestly, I have fun just walking around. Like half the time, I just walk around, bump into people. You know, the social aspects. Yeah, I mean, it's this is a sandbox. I think that the more this becomes a sandbox, the more fun it will be. And I make my own missions. I make my own challenges to myself. I don't necessarily believe that everything has to be in your Moby Glass for you to have a good time. But yeah, that will be there for other players, I'm sure.
All right, let's move on to more topics about specifically you and also the game itself. I'll start with you on this one, Expat. What would you suggest CIG do to add more immersion for the average player? What was the kind of things you'd like to see in game that would make people go, you know, make you personally, or make people go like that is really cool. I'd love to see something like I need to play this because I need to experience this.
I think the next step is AI, as far as immersion goes. Populating the world with people that don't all stand on benches would be great. Yeah, you know, I think they're on the right track with, you know, the coffee lady. She comes and goes. She works. She doesn't work. But I think more interactive NPCs. I think Twitch and Eckhart and these kind of people in the world are extremely helpful. And I think the reliance on the Moby Glass reducing slowly over time. and maybe even to an extent more helpful characters around. Just the fact that you can maybe go up to the person at the rental for your ship and be able to ask them questions about where am I, like, how do I get to my ship, how do I find, and then they could actually answer you and provide some kind of not tutorial necessarily, but like, just everyone is kind of helpful that you bump into, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe there's a few personalities around the town.
Yeah, I was just say more interactive. Like walking up to the
more NPCs, more interaction. Yeah, for sure.
Being able to walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, where's the Whammers?" Or where's the spaceport, and they can like point you like, "Oh, it's that way." Or walk up to a dude.
More conversations between NPCs and things like that. I think fleshing out the world from that point of view would definitely increase immersion. I think it's all world building, to be honest. Okay. I think players are going to do what players are going to do, and people are going to ruin your immersion everywhere you go. There's no way to stop it, really, especially with the multi-tool now, the salvaging, guaranteed there's going to be some immersion breaking art pieces on the side of an 890 jump that you fly next to,
Is that immersion breaking? Because I think humans, no matter where they are, I'll be drawing some very specific body parts on other people's vehicles for time immemorial.
Yeah, graffiti's a fact of life, guys. It's a fact of life.
Zork, same question to you. What would you like to see CIG add that you think would add more immersion to the gameplay experience?
I haven't. I've had 3 minutes to think about the question, and I couldn't come up with something. But I will say I think the media gameplay, because that is all that I have been focused on mostly, needs some immersion to be built into it. We have the Mako, which is a dedicated media ship, and I'm hoping for ships like the Galaxy, for example, where there's going to be a lot of modules that are going to add gameplay to the ship. That we're going to see modules like media modules, where you could actually make a green screen or a blue screen on the ship, and you could have like a little studio setup, and you can produce talk shows or podcasts from inside the game, and I think that is going to be adding a lot of immersion. Seeing other people inside the game that are real. I mean, I agree very much on your point, Expat, as well, with NPCs that are being able to adhere to commands. You could like have crew members or something. The blades, is that what they're called, blades, right? Anyways, you're gonna be able to have NPCs walking around your ship, and you give them orders and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. But having some interaction with actual players, that is seeing them doing something like that on a screen, like a podcast or a talk show in game, that would be really cool.
Awesome.
And I have an example here from what I do right now for the. This is Oliver. He's in front of his blue screen in game, and I can change his. I can put some. Let's see here. I can put a background on him. Like I just key out the background, and I have another background behind him. Same background as I am on now, but the actual place that I'm on is right here.
Yeah, in the hangar.
So it's not very. It's on the it's on the roof of the hangar here in New Babbage, or the same hangar in Orson.
You found a blue screen. That's awesome.
I found a blue screen, and I've been looking around a lot. I've used the gas clouds outside of ArcCorp.
Oh, and that's what that guy's doing up there. Oh my, he's recording a show.
That's a little immersion breaking. You're taking out your ship, and you're like, "What? I recognize that reporter. What is he doing up on the
on the hangar ceiling?"
We're here live in Hangar 5. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. And you're just like, "What the hell are you doing?" Security.
So yeah, that's something that I'm really looking forward to. Them like CIG taking adding some bits and pieces to the media gameplay.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll kind of keep going forward with this. Would there be anything that you specifically would like to see be added that would help your levels of immersion? If that's different from what would have the overall immersion. I'll start with you on that, Zark.
Something that would add to my immersion?
Or like to help you with your own content as well. Like things like better camera controls. You talked about like a medium module for
sure,
like Galaxy
yeah.
and stuff.
Green screens and blue screens, yeah, definitely. And when it comes to camera control, I would really like to be able to release the camera. So I release it, and then I can walk individually and have the camera be still. Because now the camera is very much fixed on my character. So whenever I move, the camera moves with me. Unless I'm on a ship and set up the third-person view, but that's a little bit complicated, and it's only available on ships. But that would be great for machinima. It would open up a whole new world of shots.
Same question with you, Expat. Would there be anything that CIG could add to improve your own content that would improve your process and everything?
It's a tricky one, really. At the end of the day, the less jank, the more it all looks like it's real. You know, like just maybe it'll come in time. I think just like, you know, polishing up some of the ships, polishing up some of the animations. You know, having more animation options, and you know, being able to you know, just little things like, you know, once the net code is straightened out, you know, having the smooth motion of other players, you know, interacting around you and interacting with objects and things like that will help a lot. Also, the VoIP and FOIP working between players, you know, pretty consistently. You know, right now it's kind of hit or miss whether your VoIP and FOIP is actually being translated. But yeah, just overall balance. I think it's already this is better than anything else I've tried. The camera systems are really impressive. I think I'm actually a cinematographer in real life. That's what I do as a job.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the cameras in Star Citizen behave quite similarly to cameras that we use outside of Star Citizen. The fact that I've got depth of field control, I've got lens control, I've got you know, I can pan the camera around, and yeah, I mean, with a few different tricks that I've developed, it can look really impressive and look quite realistic. So yeah, more camera stuff. I'm all for it. Although the camera stuff does, I hate to say it and I hate to bring it up because it might completely screw me in the future for my own content, but it's about the game, not the content, right? It's, you know, I wonder if this is going to provide an advantage to me in combat and things like that. And I wonder if it's going to eventually require me to buy a drone, you know, like, so maybe I've got all this camera features and all this is great, but it has to be attached to some kind of drone that, you know, I have to operate, as opposed to, you know, just being attached to my character. As fun as this is, I can't necessarily see it lasting just because of game balancing. I mean, I can look around corners, I can look through objects, I can, you know, it's fun in games now, but when the game's actually released and people actually have something to lose, I can imagine people complaining that, well, I mean, they're wall hacking basically because they're able to put the camera around the side, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. I do wonder sometimes if CIG could still keep the third person camera as a, because there are other games. I played MechWarrior Online for a while, and MechWarrior Online has a third person mode. And the thing about the third person mode is that when you do a third person mode, it would actually physicalize a little drone that would come off of your mech and kind of pull back, so players could see that there's somebody peeking with their drone over the corner. So it was like
that's an interesting one, yeah.
As a way of
so at least they know I'm what I'm doing, you know, and they could see the camera and they could see, yeah, exactly. It would be a shame for this to go, you know, because I have so much fun with it, and you are able to make some amazing machinima, and it is great for content creation, but yeah, I think like you were saying about the Mako and things like that, having a more like having an established game loop that involved some tools, and even being able to tap into camera feeds, and maybe being able to output them separately from your game or something like that to make it work. I don't know exactly how they would do it or anything like that. It's certainly something down the line. While it's in alpha, it probably doesn't matter so much, but later down the line, I think this is going to become a conversation that is going to have to be had.
Yeah, I was gonna say like there's other things I've always thought about which is like, for instance, I've played other games that sort of experimented with this, and some games that are basically built around this, which is having camera controls in the sense of, like hacking gameplay and stuff like that, having a player who hacks into a ship that you're targeting, and then that player can then hack into the camera controls in the ship, and they can like see all of what's going on in the ship and report all that information to the people who are boarding the ship. Those sorts of experiences I could definitely see. And if you have camera controls in your ships, if each ship has some sort of small camera that's attached inside of it, or you can install one for like security purposes, that were also really good for machinima, because you can do like dolly shots and other things like that where where you're walking and stuff like that. So.
Or like limiting the distance that your personal camera can go versus, if you get a specific dedicated like type of camera thing would be one way around it perhaps, because I mean everyone loves Screenshot Citizen as well, and the camera stuff is amazing for that, and I think when you're looking at the side of Star Citizen which like enjoys living in the universe and like kind of role playing and stuff like that, and immersing themselves, I think the cameras are extremely important to that. And, maybe should you go into like a PvP zone, or like, I don't want to say there should be any zone for anything and you're not allowed to do things, whereas you can do them over here. But like, like Star Marine, I can't do my cameras in Star Marine, for example. And that's a competitive game mode,
Yeah.
And that seems fair enough,
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to be wrapping up our kind of discussion for today. We'll be moving on to the question and answers. If you're watching this after the fact, if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, make sure you are first off going to twitch.tv/Expat Bratz, following her there, subscribing, give her money, throw money at Expat.
What?
That's
streamer privilege.
Go to Zork Media, right? It's or Zork_Media.
That's right.
Go to Zork Media, watch all the stuff, subscribe, throw super chats at him, throw money at him. Both of these two wonderful content creators deserve your time, your effort, your patronage, and so on and so forth. So go watch their stuff. They're fantastic creators. And if you're watching this, make sure you join us live on Saturdays at 6, usually at 6 p.m. No, I'm wrong. Yes, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Twitch.tv/TheAstroPub and YouTube.com/TheAstroPubLive. Come and ask your own questions and hang out. And if you wanted to see the question and answer session, there'll be a link right above Expat's camera, right there, very top. Click that link, and you'll be able to watch this, the full VOD of everything we did. I've separated them out. I'm separating them out now because YouTube doesn't like when I drop those two videos at the same time. So it's still available for those people who want to watch the VODs. So watch the Q&As. But if this is it, thank you so much for joining us. Like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.